It is Wednesday, February 10th, and it is time to check our bell work. So you should have already completed this. We're just going to go through and make sure your answers match mine, make any corrections you need to, and hopefully clear up any misconceptions. If you got some wrong, hopefully this will show you why. And if not, you can always ask me about it in class. Okay, so for number one, I look and I see I can cross simplify both of these diagonals. With 9 and 3, the largest number that divides into both 9 and 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now with the 2 and the 10, 2 is the largest number that divides into both. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now instead of saying I have 18/30ths, I can say I have 3 times 1 is 3, and 5 times 1 is 5. 3/5 should be your final answer. If you wrote 18/30ths, that's okay, but 6 divides into both 18 and 30. So you'd get 3/5 in the end. All right, let's look at number 2. I see a 5 and a 4, and we know there's nothing we can do. But with 3 and 9, we just saw that. 3 is the largest number that divides into both. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So I'm left with 5 times 1 is 5, and 3 times 4 is 12. So 5/12 should be your final answer. If you had 15 over 36, that's fine, but 3 divides into both of those. So you could have divided the numerator and denominator by 3 and ended at 5/12. For number 3, I see that I have a 9 here, and I need that to be a fraction. And we learned that we can put a 1 under it because we're not changing the value of that 9. It's still worth 9. Okay, 7 and 1, I can't do anything to. But 9 and 12, I can. There is a number that divides into 9 and 12. That number, again, is 3. 3 divides into 9 3 times, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I just divided the 9 and the 12 each by 3. Now I'm left with 3 times 7, which is 21, over 1 times 4, which is 4. This is improper, so I can go ahead and say, okay, well, I know that 4 times 5 will get me closest to 21 without going over. And 4 times 5 is 20. There's 1 left over out of 4. So you should have 5 and 1/4 for your final answer. If you started off and you had 63/12, then that's okay. You'll arrive at 5 and 1/4. You'll just have some simplifying to do. Okay, now here's a couple like we did yesterday. I have 2 and 1/5 times 3/4. So this right here is a mixed number, right? And we learned that we can change those mixed numbers into improper fractions and then do what we just did for problems 1, 2, and 3. So for number 4, instead of 2 and 1/5, I'm going to use 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11/5 times 3/4. And now I'm still going to check my diagonals to see if I can simplify. 3 and 5, there's nothing I can do. 11 and 4, there's nothing I can do. So now I can just multiply it out. 11 times 3 is 33, and 5 times 4 is 20. And now I notice that is improper. I have more on the top than on the bottom. That means this is worth more than 1. 20 goes into 33 1 time, and 20 times 1 is 20. And I know that 20 plus 13 is 33, so that would mean my numerator is 13. And my denominator is 20. All right. Number 5, again, I see I have a 2.5 here. I don't want to keep it as 2.5. I'm going to keep my 8/9. And I'm going to change 2.5 into 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5/2. Okay, now when I look, I see 9 and 5. I can't do anything with that. But 8 and 2 I can. I know that 2 goes into both of those. 2 is the largest number that divides into 8 and 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now I get 4 times 5 is 20, over 9 times 1 is 9. Now you could have had 40/18, and then you just have a little bit more work to do when we're trying to simplify this, right? All right, 9 times 2 is 18. That gets me closest to 20. 18 plus 2 is 20, and my denominator doesn't change. So 2 and 2/9 should be your final answer for that one. And for number 6, these are both the same mixed number. That's nice, because when we change one, we'll already have the answer for the other. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8/5. So this is 8/5 times 8/5. And I can't cross simplify anything because there's not a number other than 1 that goes into 5 and 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. 5 times 5 is 25. So now I have to ask myself, okay, how many 25s can I fit into 64? I just think about quarters, right? I know that 3/4 would be 75 cents, so that would be too much. So I'm gonna fit 2 of them in there. 2 25s makes 50, and 50 plus 14 would give me 64. So 2 and 14 25ths is what you should have for number 6. Okay, a couple of word problems here. Mrs. Trombley is making 4.5 trays of brownies. She needs 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips for each tray. How many cups of chocolate chips does she need to make the brownies? So she needs 3/4 of a cup for each tray. That is multiplication, right? That's one of those keywords. So I need 3/4 of a cup 4.5 times. So I'm gonna take 3/4 times 4.5. And if you wrote 4.5 times 3/4, that's totally fine because the commutative property, right? So I need to change this 4.5, right? I'm gonna keep my 3/4, but 4.5, 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9 halves. Now when I'm looking, I see 4 and a 9 I can't do anything with, and 3 and a 2 I can't do anything with, so I'm just gonna multiply it out. 3 times 9 is 27, 4 times 2 is 8. So this is improper, let's fix it up. 8 times 3 is 24, and 8 times 4 is 32, so I know 4 is too many. So my whole number would be 3. So 8 times 3 is 24, and then it takes me 3 more from 24 to get to 27, and my 8 stays the same. So 3 3/8 cups of chocolate chips is how much I would need. All right, last one. A rectangle is 2.5 inches by 1 1/5 inches. What is the area of the rectangle? Show the area model to prove your answer. Okay, well we can solve this the standard way first. I'm fine with that. So we have 2.5 times 1 1/5, right? Because if we're gonna find the area of a rectangle, you multiply the length and the width. And 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 halves. And 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6/5. All right, so when I look at this, I see that 5s are diagonal from one another. That means I can divide them each by 5. And with 2 and 6, those are both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And I end up with 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 divided by 1 is 3. So 3 inches squared, or square inches, is gonna be our answer. Now to prove this, I know this is your favorite thing, isn't it? Mine too. So we have 2.5 inches. That means I'm gonna have 2 full squares and half of another one. Get different color here. What color do I want? I think I will use a light purple color for this 2.5. So 1, 2 and a half, right? Here's my 1, 2 and a half. That's 2.5. Now it's supposed to be by 1 1/5. So now down here I already have 1. Now I need 1/5 of another, right? So here's the 1. Now if I need 1/5 of this, let's fill all these in first. We'll make it match. Okay, so here's my 1. Now I want 1/5 of this, and remember we shade these this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So to have 1 1/5, that would be this plus this little piece here. Now I think I will use, I wonder what will happen if I use this yellow one. Let's see if it shows up. My big bag of pens, I know. All right, so here's the 1. Oh, that shows up just fine. And here's my 1/5. Okay, so now to show my answer here, I'm gonna have to figure the area out. And to do that, that means I want the area of this 2.5 by 1 1/5, which means this is where my answer is. Okay, so this is my answer. Now, we know to get our answer, I have to have the same size pieces, right? So right now I notice that this piece, this was cut into halves. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw my lines in here. And this is cut into fifths, right? So I want to make this fifths as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, to try to get our answer for this, I'm going to count all these little pieces. We have, and these are all what? How big are these pieces? Well, when I look at the whole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each whole is cut up into 10, right? So that would make each of these a tenth. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right? 30 pieces shaded, and each one square is cut up into 10. That's our denominator, how many pieces the whole is cut up into. And 30 over 10, you know what that equals? 30 divided by 10 equals 3, which is what we have right there. Thanks for sticking with it. I know the area model can be tough, but it does help it to, how you see you can get 3 from 2.5 by 1 1/5. All right, have a great rest of your day.